Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another short little unboxing video to share with you guys. Actually, we have four things that came in from Tools for Gents. This was actually only half the box. The box was so heavy, so I'm actually going to divide this up into two videos, but just an unboxing and first impressions video today, not a review. All of this stuff presumably is available or will be available soon. If you guys have never checked out Tools for Gents, they have some of the most awesome and most unique stuff, especially when we're looking at companies like PMP and Midgards Messer. This stuff isn't for everybody, but for me, it is such a breath of fresh air versus the typical. I love this simple utilitarian stuff. I do. It's great, and obviously that's useful for the vast majority. But I also love the wild and crazy, and Midgards Messer always delivers the wild and crazy. So thank you so much to Tools for Gents for sending these in for me to take a look at and share with you guys. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Links in the description for Tools for Gents. What should we start with? Let's start with the little one. Let's start with the little. I'm going to go with the lightest and then go up. So this little guy. Oh, this was so the designer of this is so cool. The designer of this reached out to me and said, "Do you have any interest?" And I got this thing about little tiny knives. If it's little tiny and that's the whole gimmick, there's nothing else to it, then it's not really my thing. But if it's small and it's an oddly shaped or has odd geometry, right? Like the Curtis ODT you guys always ask me about that's in my intro, then yes, I am interested. Look at the polish on that. That's great. Look at this. Oh my gosh. So what is this? Is this the lock? Ooh. Ooh, that's kind of neat. I've never seen a lock like that. So it actually does flip really well. This has a beautiful finish on it. I will have put whatever this is up in the, so you guys can see there. Look at the, how they did the jimping there. Is there any blade play? No, there isn't. What is this lock? Is it a little... It's only on one side. It feels... It could be an omega spring or a coil spring. I'm not really sure. But yeah, that's fun. That's a fun little, just a little office carry, whatever. It's actually kind of chunky. Tip down. Oh, no. I'm just kidding. It's also pretty smooth. Look at that. This is so funny. That's such a funny little rectangle knife, but it's cool. Let's slice a piece of paper with it. Okay, here we go. God, I'm getting old. I have to make noises when I bend over and pick stuff up. Yeah, okay, like you can say, the geometry is definitely not going to be optimized for slicing, but you absolutely can. It's a fun little thing to get into a package with, for sure. And actually, that little sliding, whatever this is, right? That actually works pretty well. This is, for being a small, slippery, rectangular, object, it's actually pretty easy to manipulate. So this is really fun. It's not easy to get this size of cutting apparatus right to make it like a fun and usable, mostly fun. Heavy emphasis on the fun, not so much the usable. But to make it actually usable, it's a little bit tricky because it's such a small object, right? So yeah, okay, pretty neat. I'm guessing these are going to be available soon if they're not currently available. What's the next lightest? Probably this one here. So this is Viking Hybrid Cryo Steel. I don't know what order we're supposed to read that in. Oh, okay. What's the note here? Oh, this is a prototype. Missed the E, but that's okay. Prototype. Oh, it's an even smaller Valhalla with a Tanto. Okay. So what are we calling this? The micro? The nano? The Nano Valhalla. What's funny is that this is still a pretty big knife. Like, it's roughly the same size as, it's not a micro knife. Like, it's just a little smaller. And only in terms of the handle than like the Ontario Rat 2, which is not a big knife. I chose the wrong words there. It's just funny that the Nano, in any other situation, you would be describing something incredibly tiny. So this, I'm a little bit nervous here. I'm trying to get these tabs disengaged. There we go. So if you've never seen the bigger ones. I own the huge one and the one that's kind of in between. But the whole idea here is that, and it's, again, just more fun than it is like actually practical. But the whole idea is you can house a longer blade into this handle because of how all of this shifts around and slides into place. Now, if you're wondering, are those locking tabs very strong? The answer is no. I wouldn't use this any harder than you would a liner lock. The tabs, and I know this from accidentally breaking them one time, abusing it, right? But you should definitely not expect more from this than a typical liner lock, right? And that might even be kind of pushing it. This is mostly just for fun, and it does work, right? This one's a little bit, there we go. A little tighter tabs there, but yeah, it's fun. It's weird, it's different, right? It's stuff that like knife collectors enjoy. So we have one from PMP and one more from Midgards. Let's look at the PMP. Oh, is this the non-locking, or the what do we call this? It has no one-hand deployment, right? So it's going to make it legal in a lot more areas, but it's still a frame lock, a big piece of 14C28N. This is, some of these boxes are labeled and some of them are not. Is it the Big Boy? I can't remember, but this is a nice titanium frame lock, little texturing, right? 14C28N. I think, you know, like considering what it's going to push the price up to. Oh yeah, there it is, the Big Boy XL. What it's going to push the price up to for just being titanium, and the fact that, you know, especially if you live in the United States, you look at those prices, right? It's euros, and then all the shipping and everything getting it to you. But it's already going to be expensive. You have the titanium, right? So at this point, it's like, I'd kind of rather it be G10, or I'd rather it be titanium and some more premium steel and just pay more for it. But I don't know. I feel like there's probably a market for people kind of wanting something right in between, and then also needing a knife, maybe. Not so much in the United States, because we don't care whether or not it deploys with one hand. But some places in the world, it is a very big deal if the knife deploys, you know, with one hand, or like via a thumb stud or a flipper, like that's illegal. So making an option like this that does not have, you know, that one hand deployment, that makes it legal for some people. And then this Midgards Messer, which is the heaviest, probably not the longest. Oh boy, I bet you this also says prototype. Yep. What is this? Maybe it will say, has that Midgards Messer typical secondary locking pin, which is essentially just a second stop pin. Plenty of threads there, goes all the way through. Just typical stop pin thickness. Now, what do we have? It looks like maybe a frame lock. Oh boy. A very interesting, not really a Warncliffe. I don't know. What do you guys want to call this? Reverse Tanto? Not even so much. The thinner grind is actually out here. Usually when we see the compound grind, now I'm sure you're wondering, what's the purpose of that? There isn't one. It's just Midgards Messer being Midgards Messer, right? Probably CPM D2. Probably. What does this say? I have no idea. We'll find out, and I'll put it up on screen. Incredibly tight. That relief cut is almost non-existent. Super tight. A little difficult to move over. This is probably almost a 1/4 inch. It's probably 225, 230 thousandths. Heavy jimping. A lot more comfortable than you'd think, but still quite a ways off from what I'd call comfortable. That pocket clip is nearly the entire length from where it attaches. So I'm going to call this shallow carry. And then the bill is way down here. Not super tight though. And it's rounded off here. It looks a lot more pokey than it is, but it definitely is pokey, and you can absolutely feel it. This would not be comfortable to use over a long period of time. But then again, it is a Midgards Messer, and they're going more for crazy than they are for comfort. This is a wild backspace. I feel like you could use this to smash glass or someone's forehead. You know, if I wouldn't recommend that, but it would definitely do that. Golly, wow. So titanium, and then titanium surely underneath as well. The backspacer has a bit of a different finish on it. I'm curious if the magnet will like the backspacer. Let's see. Yep, that is steel. That is a huge, it might all be steel. Yeah, it is. This is all steel. So this is a steel frame, probably titanium overlays, steel backspacer, and probably a CPM D2 steel blade, which is pretty, I mean, the CPM D2 is pretty typical for Midgards Messer, but the steel frame lock part of it is not. Okay, fun stuff. This will all get its own video, right? Because it's all completely and totally unique. Wild stuff, some more practical than others, but wild, fun stuff. The exact type of stuff that I expect to come from Tools for Gents. And, ultimately, companies like PMP and Midgards Messer. I'm glad that they keep doing exactly what they're doing. I don't want these companies to change and conform to just the typical boring stuff that we have a bajillion other companies making a bajillion more knives than anyone could ever need, right? The people who complain about Midgards Messer and PMP, it's like, you have more choices than you could possibly comprehend. Let these companies be who they are. They're awesome for it. And we're, for people who like these companies, they are here for the weird. They want the weird, right? So, yeah, cool. Keep being you. Fun stuff. Thanks so much for sending it in. When these knives that are prototypes are available, they will be available at Tools for Gents. So I'll have that link down in the description. If you speak English, make sure that you change the website to English, which is up in the top left-hand corner, I believe. But anyways, please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.